All right, welcome to another edition of 10 Minutes with. Again, I'm all by myself. Kate is, she's back in the office part-time, so I'm running solo for a little bit. So I'm here with my guest. Please welcome Anthony Shopa, aka Young Leg from 2 Foot Talk, the blog and podcast on the StadiumScene.tv network. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I guess I scared away Kate, so I'm sorry to not have her here as well.
Sorry, the only thing Kate does, which I forgot to do, is she runs the timer, which I just started it, so I guess that's not too bad. She also tells me to shut up when I'm talking too much. So that's she's not here, so here we go. So let's get right into it. Why did you so you run a blog, you run a podcast, why did you get into that?
So soccer's always been a passion of mine, and when I went to college, it was a lot of creating content, whether it was on the radio station with the news team, with the newspaper. I always like doing opinion pieces. I always like talking soccer. So I decided, you know what, I kind of talk enough crap that I think I'm pretty entertaining. So we started the podcast. I got my buddy Bond, who I actually met in college as well, and he was willing to come and pretty much take my crap for an hour a week. So that's how we got that started. And we both are just very passionate about European soccer and feel that America doesn't really push it the way that it should be. Like, we don't have the same culture as they do over in Europe. So we try to bring that.
And before we get too far into it, you do have a celebrity guest that periodically makes appearances on your show. Who? Let's name drop.
Zach Steffen, he's the U.S. men's national team goalie. He's going to be the backup for Manchester City. Also, ESPN stole that scoop from me. That was from my podcast, but whatever. ESPN, we got these. So Zach came on for our 100th episode, pretty much told us what he's going to do. I've known him since I was in grade school. We actually played soccer together for FC Delco, for Westchester United, just growing up and winning every single game. And I played defense as well, so having Zach behind you was fantastic. It's awesome that whenever he's home, it's usually like 2 to 3 weeks, he gets to come on the show. Maybe he'll call in, but that's always really cool to get to talk to him and get the real experience of the player.
See, and that's really cool. I mean, I grew up playing soccer in a small farm town in Indiana, and we weren't very good, but there was never anybody. Well, the closest thing, about 2 hours away, there was somebody who's around the same age as me, and there's jokes making how old it is. And we used to run into DeMarcus Beasley all the time. He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I never played against him. I've been in tournaments where I've seen him play. I remember seeing him play as a kid, which was pretty crazy, but never did I actually have a teammate that would go on to make it. I mean, I had a few people go to college, but what is that like? I mean, you said it. It's, having that guy behind you is pretty impressive. What do you think about this kid that you knew from being a young player, goes on and is now the U.S. men's national team goalie? He's rostered on one of the best clubs in the world. Like, what is that? What do you think when you think about that?
Well, for me, it's not just getting to play against him. We grew up together. I've known him since I was 10 years old. So it's awesome seeing your boy go and get to live his dream and hear about his dream. And sometimes I even get to go out and experience, when he was playing for Columbus, he had me out, got me a custom jersey and everything. He always treats me very well. And I like to kind of live through him. I kind of vicariously through him, because he's living the dream, in my opinion. And, it's awesome just to see your friends really being successful, and I wish him great things. On my podcast, I may have said a few things about Ederson that aren't that nice, but I'm also pro Zach Steffen, so that's how you got to do it. I'm a ride or die type of guy, so just seeing him succeed and shine is really nice.
Well, I take it back. There is one other person he's a few years older than me. Ezra Hendrickson, who played in the MLS for some years, bounced around between, I think, it was the Metro Stars at the time. He won, I think, a few with the LA Galaxy. His uncle was actually my high school coach, which is pretty cool. But
okay, there you go. Now we're all name dropping.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, back on topic. So you've kind of briefed on your show and some of the people you've had. But what would you say a listener would expect to hear listening to your show or reading your blog, for that
matter? So I might not pronounce this word properly, but I think it really does say the whole vibe of the show. We're a satirical type of show where you're going to be getting a lot of just entertainment and funny stuff, and you're going to hear me and Bond going at it, but it's all the actual facts. I live and breathe football. So, like, if it's on, I'm watching it. I don't care if it's Europa League. I don't care if it's the Chechnyan League. Like, regardless, if there's football on, I'm going to be watching it, or soccer, sorry. I'm going to be watching it. So, for me, it's always just been, like, that's kind of second nature. So, when our podcast is on, there's the entertainment side, but there's also just, it's all facts. Like, I give straight up statistics. We break down the matches. We give you all the highlights of exactly what's been going on that week, whether it's in the headlines, whether it's transfers, maybe Mourinho said something outlandish again, maybe somebody did a 2-foot tackle that me and Bond are going to highlight because we are 2-foot talk. So it's just, you're going to get the nitty gritty, but it's also just a lot of facts and a lot of information and statistics that go into it.
Say what if Mourinho made another outlandish comment? I mean, have you seen the Spurs documentary yet, or has it even come out yet?
So I don't really plan on watching the Spurs documentary because you don't make documentaries for losing Champions League. But I am a Real Madrid fan, so what would I know about that? We have 13, haven't even made a documentary about it. So
I don't know. I feel like I just would watch it. Just the hype, and they're talking about how there's a segment where he's like complaining about people not pronouncing his name correctly, that they're calling him Jose instead of Jose, and he gets like really upset by it, but he's like, yeah, what can you do? But you can tell it.
He lets a lot of that stuff upset him.
Really?
He lets a lot of that upset him, and then you can see it in the interviews because it'll happen one too many times, and like one reporter will say his name wrong and then give him a question he doesn't like, and it's just like, next. Sorry, you're done. You can't say Jose, you're done.
You just see it in his eyes where he just kind of like, really? All right, a piece of advice that you have learned since you started blogging and podcasting that you'd share.
So I guess you can I try to spin it to a positive, but it's a little bit of a negative that's happened to me. So when you're growing and you're starting out new, you kind of want to collaborate a lot because that's the best way to grow. You get to see the different audiences, you get to work with different people, get your name out there, and in the conversation with other audiences, like I said. And for me, it was always, I would try to take it the next step, and I'd give them one of my ideas. I'd be like, yo, have you tried doing this? Like, I wouldn't mind helping you out. And you give them the idea, and they give you one of those, all right, we'll think about it. And then next week you'll see them doing it, and they don't include you at all. So I would just say, make sure you always keep your cards very, very close to your chest, all right? Just don't give everyone every single play that you have. Always keep a little trick up your sleeve. Make sure you keep the good stuff for you, or if you do want to talk to some people about it, make sure you can actually trust them where they won't go and just steal the idea and do their thing.
I mean, you really look at it, and everyone's had an idea. It's all about the execution. You can steal the playbook, but if you can't execute, doesn't really matter. So that's
exactly
good take though. As far as getting ready to wrap it up here, where can we find your site, your show, and your social media?
So big announcement. Our shop is finally working again. Thank you, COVID-19, for that delay. The connected, so I used WooCommerce, and the connected store was a crapshoot. I don't know what was going on. They couldn't take any more orders. So the shop is back. It's 2foottalk.com, TWOfoottalk.com. Brand new young leg design. I mean, there's an ego here. You'll learn that on the show as well. If you ever want to talk any banter, talk any soccer, you can find me at @ayoungleg, or you can follow us on Twitter at 2foottalk, at TWOfoottalk. And yeah, every week, Spotify, Apple, every Thursday, drop a new podcast. Make sure you check it out.
Awesome. So before we wrap it up here, I'm sure it's a sore subject with Real Madrid, bowing out of the Champions League. Who's winning?
So I'm really hoping for a Cinderella story. I would love to see Atalanta get to the final. I know they got a tall order because they're going to have to go through PSG and then through most likely Atletico Madrid. And then I think it's going to be Bayern in the final. I would say Bayern's probably the favorite. Robert Lewandowski's on a complete different level. Barcelona definitely doesn't have an answer for him. If Manchester City gets through, I don't think their defense has an answer for him. And if Bayern and Lewandowski stay hot, I don't think anyone's stopping them in a one-leg tournament.
There you go. Awesome. Anthony, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime. And for everyone else, check us out check us out and Anthony's podcast at stadiumscene.tv. Join the network and give us a follow at Stadium Scene on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and at Stadium_Scene on Instagram. And we will see you next time.